Welcome everyone to my Yanagi guide. As always, I'll talk about how to play and best build her, and let's just get right into the guide and first talk about her basic attacks. So when it comes to Yanagi, she has two stances, and a stance is basically just a state for Yanagi to be in where she has a specific set of normal attacks and gains certain buffs. For example, in her first stance called Jugen, she has a specific set of normal attacks and gains increased electric damage and interruption resistance. For her other stance, Kagen, her pen ratio will be buffed by 10% while also having new attacks and another form of interruption resistance. Now the way you change her stances is by her chain attack, assist follow-up, and special attack, and you actually want to be switching between them, as when you do so for 8 seconds, Yanagi will have the buffs of her two stances. So to deal the most damage with her, after switching your stance, you should attack for 8 seconds, and then switch your stance again, so you can retain both buffs of her stances the entire time. And a quick and beneficial way to change her stances is by using her special attack after her 3rd, 4th, or 5th basic attack. This will activate Swift Routen, which, beyond being faster in switching stances, will enable her to block enemies' attacks, and follow up with her 3rd basic attack, which is a nice scaling attack. As for her EX special attack, it's much the same in changing stances and so on, but it is also able to trigger a special form of disorder called Polarity Disorder. How this works is that when the enemy is already under an anomaly reaction and Yanagi performs the downward slash of her EX special attack, the enemy will take polarity disorder damage, which is like normal disorder but with some key differences. First, polarity disorder causes the enemy to take 15% of the original disorder damage they'd otherwise take. This may sound bad, but it's actually negated by being buffed by a huge percentage of Yanagi's anomaly proficiency, and additionally, this attack won't remove the anomaly state of the enemy as a normal disorder would, meaning that you can actually trigger multiple polarity disorders. This mechanic of Yanagi's is actually really good, as not only can you spam these disorders, the disorders themselves will actually deal a lot of damage, as Yanagi's kit will buff the disorder damage she and her entire team can perform, as seen by her skills. Her ultimate is another one of her really good abilities, as one, it'll deal a lot of damage, inflict a lot of electric so enemies will often be shocked by this, and most importantly, it's another means by which Yanagi can deal her polarity disorders. Finally, for her additional ability, when Yanagi changes stances and does a basic attack, her anomaly buildup will be increased by a massive 45%. Seeing as how good this is absolutely an ability you want to take advantage of. Now on to leveling up her abilities, level her core skill as much as possible, and then level up her special attack and ultimate, as they will increase the damage of her polarity disorders. Finally, level her basic attacks, and if you'd like, you can also level her assists and dodge attacks. Next up, I'll cover which W engines you should use on Yanagi. So when it comes to Yanagi's engines, she unfortunately doesn't have that many options. Given her kit, her engines are very specific, and actually the disparity between her signature and other W engines are quite noticeable. The reason for this is that her signature is actually really good, it's really quite broken. To put it simply, her signature grants an absurd amount of attack, and its passive increases her electric buildup, while also buffing her anomaly proficiency and disorder damage when Yanagi reaches a certain number of proficiency. All the stuff this engine gives is really nice. Naturally, it perfectly caters to Yanagi, and it's just really good in comparison to her other engines. But still, you can absolutely make use of the fusion compiler. It gives pen ratio, which will result in a nice damage increase, in addition to granting attack and an anomaly proficiency bonus when a special attack is used, which Yanagi will often do. Another good but still premium option is the Electro Lip Gloss. It'll give Yanagi key stats like anomaly proficiency, attack, as well as a damage bonus, and all these buffs occur when an opponent is dealt with an attribute anomaly, which given Yanagi's disorder playstyle is easy to do. Now for the free-to-play options for Yanagi, her best A rank engine is going to be the Weeping Gemini. This engine can be R5'd fairly easily, and I recommend that you do so. The best part of this engine is that it has stacks of anomaly proficiency, which can be easily gained, allowing for Yanagi to deal impressive damage that in certain scenarios can actually deal higher damage than the fusion compiler. There is also the Rainforest Gourmet, which, although free, is honestly a weak engine for Yanagi. I wouldn't recommend using it unless you have no other options to use. In this scenario, you can use the other S-Rank Anomaly engines or the Magnetic Storm Bravo until you get something better. Next up, let's go over Yanagi's best drive discs. When grinding for Yanagi's drive discs, there are three main sets you want to focus on. The first is going to be Chaos Jazz, and I would argue this is her best set overall. First off, the 2-piece gives 30 anomaly proficiency, which is great for Yanagi. And then the 4-piece bonus gives her increased electric damage. So already Yanagi is getting 2 really good stat bonuses without any sort of conditions. There is also another buff, though this does have a condition. So when Yanagi is off field, she'll gain a buff to her EX special attack. While Yanagi isn't able to unleash her special attack off field, this buff still lasts for 5 seconds when the wearer comes on field, so Yanagi can still benefit from this buff. It's just that she needs to actually use her EX special attack within this time frame. So with this one set alone, you're already getting 3 really nice buffs, albeit you need to use Yanagi fairly quickly. However, there is also Freedom Blues. Now, this is absolutely a viable set and one you will find success with, but the only downside to this set is that it lacks any noteworthy offensive stats, unlike Chaos Jazz, resulting in Yanagi's damage being less with this set. Yes, the anomaly proficiency is nice, but Chaos Jazz gives you this on top of electric damage bonus and EX special attack bonus, whereas Freedom Blues just merely causes Yanagi to deal shock faster, essentially, which in of itself doesn't actually increase her personal damage. And in truth, I wouldn't say that she really needs this set, because seeing she's already anomaly, shocking enemies is already going to be pretty easy for her. So use this set if you like it or if you already have it farmed, but honestly there are better options, and you'd probably do better to just give this set to one of your supports. Finally is 4 Thunder Metal, and this set is actually kind of weird when it comes to Yanagi. The best thing about this set is that it gives a huge amount of attack when enemies are shocked, which Yanagi will do, so it is actually quite an effective set. But given this set has a big reliance on shocks, you could play Yanagi in a full electric team with this set. She'll still be able to perform her polarity disorders given the way her kit works, so you don't have to worry about that. But instead of purely focusing on disorders, she could make use of like Rina and other electric supports, which turn her into a sort of traditional DPS. In combination with these sets for the 2 pieces, you can use the sets I just mentioned that you're not going to use, in addition to Puffer Electro or Hormone Punk. For main stats, in the 4th slot, use Anomaly Proficiency or Attack Percentage, but I'd lean more so to Anomaly. Then for the 5th, you can use Electric Damage, Pen Ratio, or Attack Percentage. In the 6th, you can use Anomaly Mastery as well as Attack Percentage. If you'll be playing her in a mono electric team, use Attack instead of Mastery. Concerning substats, aim for Anomaly Proficiency, Attack, and then Pen. Let's now quickly go over her best Mindscapes. Ranking in as her 3rd best is her 1st, which gives her stacks that are activated when she is attacked, causing her to be invulnerable for 1 second while also increasing her anomaly proficiency. The 2nd best Mindscape is her M2, increasing the anomaly buildup of her special attack. Also, her EX special attack will cost more energy, but likewise make her thrust attack occur multiple times. Polarity disorder is further increased as well. Lastly, for her number 1, it is her M6. It gives all sorts of improvements like extra attack and EX special damage. Her thrust attacks are buffed while still costing the same amount of energy. Last but not least, her disorder damage is once more increased. Now let's get into some great teams for Yanagi. The best and most premium of her teams is going to be her with Bernice and Caesar. Bernice is really good since she'll be able to effortlessly trigger or fire Anomaly on opponents even when she's off field, making it very easy for Yanagi to spend time on field and dish out her polarity disorders. The duo of these two is really good, but with Caesar in the team, it's even better as Caesar will provide shielding, but most importantly, her really useful buffs, like the 15% damage bonus that comes from her set, her attack buffs, and her other team-wide damage bonuses. As for a cheaper but still effective version of this team, it'll be with Seth and Piper. First off, Seth is actually a really good support to Yanagi. While perhaps not as good as Caesar, he's still very effective as he'll increase her anomaly proficiency, meaning that Yanagi will deal increased polarity disorder damage, and he'll give her a shield. He'll also trigger her additional ability, as will Piper, but even so, this just goes to show that even though he's an A rank support, he's still a really good support. The same is the case for Piper. She's an anomaly agent, so she'll easily build up the physical anomaly of enemies, enabling for Yanagi to be switched in and shock enemies, causing polarity disorders. Piper also acts as a sort of mini Caesar, as when she has enough power stacks, her team's damage will be increased by 18%. Moving into Mono Electro, you can slot Rina in and Chingy as Yanagi's teammates. Here Yanagi will be using for Thunder Metal, and this team will make the most out of it, as it'll increase the shock damage of enemies and cause enemies to be shocked for longer. Rina will further buff Yanagi thanks to her electric damage buff and her pen ratio buff. For Chingy, she'll cause enemies to be stunned and cause them to actually take a huge amount of extra stun damage, which will also play into Yanagi's polarity disorders and cause them to deal much higher damage. Well everyone, this is my Yanagi guide. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and be sure to check out my Rina guide to best builder for Yanagi or the best builder for any other sort of team. Thanks for watching, and take care.